Hello there. What is going on, everyone? We're talking about Magic the Gathering and Star Wars today because some news has been going around that's been circulating, and it certainly piqued my interest of some people who seem to think that there could be a teaser of Star Wars coming to Magic the Gathering with the release of Secrets of Strixhaven and all of the events that are going on this weekend, although it's probably just a factory misprint, but I thought it's fascinating. We're going to talk about it in this video, clear up what it looks like, but also speculate on what it could potentially be. So if you are interested in Star Wars and tabletop gaming and card gaming and miniatures gaming and board gaming, I'll talk about all of that stuff here. I'd love to have you stick around. Plus, we're doing a giveaway for a $25 Amazon gift card. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my other videos. But for here, let me know what you would love to see out of a Star Wars set in Magic the Gathering. Would you like it to be a single set? Do you think it would work if they did like a block or multiple sets? Would you want to see pre-con decks? You know, how would you like to see that? Or are you totally against it as a core concept? Let's talk about what brought all of this on. So in recent Secrets of Strixhaven releases and events and everything that's been going on this weekend, you've already seen, I've opened some of them as well, but some folks have posted on Reddit that their cards have a little bit of either a misprinting or an Easter egg in the form of X-Wings, where the normal anti-counterfeit holographic little symbol would typically appear at the bottom of their cards. Here you can see a special guest card, a regular card, and another regular card with the Magic the Gathering typical symbol in the middle, whereas you have X-Wings on here. Let's zoom in a little bit closer so you can see specifically what we're talking about. Yes, X-Wing symbols did show up on at least 2 Magic cards throughout this weekend for the Secrets of Strixhaven pre-release. Now, this may have just been a factory error because typically with Universes Beyond sets and everything that Star Wars might end up being, they still use the normal Magic the Gathering one. I went through all of my Universes Beyond cards and I checked, and none of them were really different. The only difference you'll sometimes find is that the Magic the Gathering symbol will also have inlaid with it a symbol of the mana color symbols of what might be on the card. So if it's like a blue card, you might see like the water drop mana symbol for blue mana, so on and so forth. But other than that, they really don't change. However, there have been printing errors before. There have been several, and so this could easily just be a printing error. Some people have also pointed out that this is the Star Wars Unlimited symbol, and so I pulled out some of my Star Wars Unlimited cards, and sure enough, they're absolutely nearly identical. And why I say nearly identical is because they are cut differently, and of course my camera is going to hit the light slightly differently. But if we match them up, you can see that that's the same symbol. It's still X-Wings. It's the Star Wars Unlimited symbol here on the right, and the presumably misprinted Magic the Gathering Secrets of Strixhaven cards on the left. So what does this mean? Well, naturally, a lot of people who maybe weren't familiar with this right away, or people that just want to talk about speculation, which, hey, I have done that plenty, and it's always fun to speculate, but this did lead to a lot of people just saying, oh my gosh, are they doing Star Wars for Magic the Gathering? Was there like a whole batch of, because they have to get this stuff done in advance, so, things start printing, things are designed, and things are, test prints and all that stuff are done before it's before it's announced and made public and everything. So could it be possible that they're already knee deep into printing a future Star Wars set, and then this is where that happened? Or could it be that the same factories just make both both sets of cards, and somebody loaded the wrong foil into one batch? Certainly could be. It certainly seems that way because of the fact that these are the Star Wars Unlimited pattern, and this presumably, granted it's cut differently because this is more of a rectangular oval and the other one is more of a narrow oval, so like the shapes are slightly different, but the shapes differ all the time. Magic the Gathering sometimes does the ovals, sometimes they do triangles. It changes, so it's just however they want to cut it, but the paper does certainly appear to be the same paper. Now, it wouldn't surprise me terribly if Magic the Gathering did come out with a Star Wars set at some point, with all of the Universes Beyond sets that they've done in the past, from Lord of the Rings to Assassin's Creed to Final Fantasy, and then of course 2027 with all of the cool stuff that they've been doing, with Ninja Turtles, The Hobbit, Marvel superheroes. They've already done a Spider-Man set, and Star Trek of all things coming in November. It would be really, really cool to see them come out with a Star Wars set, especially because they've already got a built-in infrastructure for how spaceships and things and vehicles will work in Magic the Gathering, because they They did that last year. And so you already have spaceships in the game. Star Trek seems like it'll fit perfectly, but granted, it seems like Star Wars would also fit perfectly into the game. And for those of you who might say, well, we already have Star Wars Unlimited, they wouldn't license the same game out to two systems. That kind of already happened with Final Fantasy. Although Star Wars Unlimited is doing fairly well, there does seem to me like there's room for both. There's room for Star Wars in both games. Because if Star Wars came to Magic the Gathering, it would probably be a single set. Probably wouldn't be, 14 sets. It might be more than one. It could be 3. They could do one per trilogy. They could do a prequel trilogy, Galactic Civil War, and then sequel trilogy or something like that. Or they could do Old Republic. They could do more than one set. But I don't think it would be a recurring thing that just continues to happen forever and ever, whereas Star Wars Unlimited explores every single inch of the Star Wars universe and does multiple sets over and over and over again, and you will see, like, Darth Vader reprinted for the 8th time and things like that, whereas you probably won't see that in Magic the Gathering. At most, typically, you'll probably see 2 if they do Commander decks, and you have a version of him in the regular boosters and then a version as Commander or something like that. But then again, I could totally be wrong, because if you look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sets, you have about 7 versions of each turtle, but there is also a universe that has basically 4 main characters. Well, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 if you count the bad guys and Master Splinter as well, but you have to kind of redo the main characters, especially when you advertise a turtle in every pack. I don't really see the same issues happening in Star Wars, because you have so many more characters to choose from, and it could really be a fantastic set. But that's really just where speculation kicks in. Now, another thing that is interesting about all of this is that MagicCon is kicking off in Las Vegas at the beginning of May this year, and it is going to conclude right as May the 4th is like on the horizon for the very next day. So how cool would it be if Magic did actually announce a 2027 lineup that included a Star Wars Universes Beyond set? I mean, it's possible. Now, granted, this still looks like an obvious misprint to me and not necessarily an Easter egg, but wouldn't it be cool? I leave the decision up to you. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments section below, because I do think it would be very cool to actually have Star Wars come to Magic the Gathering. I would love that as a fan of card games, as a fan of Magic the Gathering, and as a fan of Star Wars. I think it would be fantastic. Now, another interesting thing about this is I do wonder if it would suffer from the same problem that other Disney properties can sometimes suffer from when they go to Magic the Gathering, and that is the online version. Like for Magic Online or Magic Arena, they didn't have rights to kind of print Spider-Man in the digital card game version, so they had to take the same cards and give them new art and a different name. And so, like, all of the cards from the Spider-Man expansion exist in Magic Online, but under a completely different set name with completely different artwork and card names. Even though the mechanics are still there, the names are totally different. I wonder if Star Wars would have to suffer from that same kind of digital transformation if they were to make the digital version of it in Magic Arena, or if they would actually be allowed to kind of print that online. It's always an interesting thing when it comes to the rights to do cards, but at least it means that Wizards of the Coast does have a plan to handle something, even if they only get a partial license for it. But they do have a good working relationship with Disney as well, considering they already have done Spider-Man, and they're doing Marvel, and they're doing Infinity Gems in these, which means there's probably at least 4 more sets planned after this. And that's what I've heard, is that they have a big long-term deal with Marvel to do this. Now, granted, a deal with Marvel doesn't equate to a deal with Lucasfilm, but if you're working well with Disney long enough, I think it probably greases the skids a little bit. So this could definitely be a thing that happens. It just might not be in 2027. It could be something that happens in the future. I would love it, and I'd love to bring it to you. If there is any news of this, I'll be talking about it for sure. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I will talk to you guys later. I want to thank you guys for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing and help make this whole channel possible. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. So say we all. And always wash your socks.